Hello, my most amazing artist. This is Mrs. Joplin, and we are looking inside the artist studio today. Normally, when you come to art class, the classroom is set up as your studio space, and it's divided into different kinds of materials, and you guys know where to go gather what you need to create art. But now we're creating art from home, so you're going to need to create your own studio space. And the cool thing about it is our studio spaces don't all have to look alike. It doesn't have to be set up the way it was in the art room. All you need to know is that artists need space to create. That space can be at your kitchen table. It could be in your bedroom. It could be even outside, depending on the weather. Artists need materials to create with. Again, our materials don't all have to look alike. Artists create with lots of different supplies, and so we'll talk about what kind of supplies you may find around your house and how to gather those and collect those so that you can create art. And artists need inspiration. In the classroom, we had the inspiration station with lots of art books, lots of other kinds of books, lots of pictures, objects that you could look through, that you could arrange and draw and paint. And I imagine that you have a lot of inspiring things around your house. So first of all, we're going to look at a professional artist. Then I'll show you how I arrange my studio space. And then I'm going to walk you through setting up your own using materials that you probably have at home. And again, they're all going to look different. So let's get started. Okay, guys, we're going to start out by looking at the studio space of a professional artist. This is Nikki Betger, and she is an illustrator. She lives here in Indiana, not too far from us, and she creates drawings. She illustrates children's books and even coloring books, some of which you may have seen and you may even have in your home. She illustrates the images for some of the Crayola coloring books that you've probably seen at Walmart or Kroger. And maybe even you got one in your Easter basket. I don't even know. But I will be sharing a video, a clip of her creating one of her drawings and talk to you a little bit about that at another time. But this is her studio space. So you see this a picture of her here with one of her studio assistants. And you see behind her some of the things that inspire her, and I think some of the books that she has illustrated. So let's look. Here are some pictures from her studio. So if you look on the left of your screen, that makes me think of our inspiration station in the classroom. Lots of books, lots of colorful things, images hanging up and things to look at. You see she has a comfy place to sit. And I think that comfy spot is not just for her to sit at, but you can see in the middle her puppies. So she has 3 studio assistants. And I'm wondering if you can spot a cartoon character that is a source of inspiration for Nikki. She shared that she is a big fan of this one particular dog that you may have seen. I see him right behind on a pillow, right behind one of her pups. And I see a drawing of him hanging up on the wall in the top right picture on your screen. So if you haven't spotted him yet, I bet most of you have by now, but it's Snoopy. So she loves Snoopy. And if you look at the picture on the right side of your screen, that looks like some desks and all kinds of cool work stuff. That is her workspace. And she has 2 workspaces, 2 desks. One is, as she said, is more for her computer stuff because she does a lot of her illustrating digitally. So that means she draws it on her computer instead of with pencil and paper. And then she has the other desk that's more for her messy creating. So I'll show you a close-up of those 2 workspaces. So on one side, we see this. She likes to do wood burning. I don't know if any of you have ever done that before. I do wood burning, but it's just in the fire pit, and all it is just burning wood. So she does, that was a joke. Okay. She does where she burns designs and images into wooden things. So it's pretty cool. And that's on one side of our screen. We can see that she has a little Lazy Susan that she can set stuff on, and you can see some of the equipment there. And then on the other side, she has her digital workspace, and I see Snoopy again. So, see, we artists like to surround ourselves with the things that inspire us. So, if you have a favorite character, oh, Snoopy's even in the wood burning workspace. I see him. I don't know if you can spot him sitting in there. But we like to surround ourselves with the things that inspire us. So, that is her. That's her workspace. And I'm going to show you now a little bit of my workspace. And actually, mine's not my workspace. Mine's where I store my stuff, but you'll see. Okay, hi guys. So I share my house with 5 other people. I have a family of 6. So I don't have a space right now that is just an art studio. So we do like temporary space at our house. That's temporary home workspace, everything is temporary. So this is what I do, though. It may look kind of familiar to you guys because you know how I am in the classroom. Everything has a place, everything is labeled. I'm kind of a stickler about it. I want everything put back where it goes. And so this is how I do things here at home too. So I have, let's see, it may be better to turn the camera around and show you. Oh, no, I can't do that while I'm recording. Okay, so you can see, I'll try to do it this way. I have we have Play-Doh. I have my sewing machine, all my sewing stuff here, and fabric and yarn and things like that. I have paper, all different kinds of paper down here, magazines, paints. So I have a lot of my art materials. I keep them all in my garage. And so everything's like in containers and stuff, and we can just kind of take stuff in as we need it. And we use the kitchen most of the time, like the kitchen counter or the dining room table. Or sometimes if it's nice out, we do it outside. Oh, and here's more of my stuff, like paints and tie-dye and beads. And this is what an art teacher's garage looks like. We have all the things. So, So yeah, that's my space. That's my studio. My studio is portable, temporary. And so it's not like some other artist spaces, but someday I hope to have a permanent studio. Maybe when I don't share my house with so many people. All right, so we've seen the permanent workspace of our professional artist, Nikki Becker. You've seen how I manage my studio space at home, which is more temporary. And so now it's time to decide about you. What will your studio look like? Is your space, can it be a permanent space that you set up and you have room to leave it set up the whole time, like all the time, maybe even after the school year's over, and you can use it through the summer and just, going on and on. Or maybe your space needs to be temporary, like mine. Maybe you share space with a lot of other people, and so you have to be able to pack it up and get it out. Maybe when it's time to create, put it away when it's not. Maybe you want it to be portable, so you can take it outside and do art outside on the porch or in the yard. Or maybe you want to be able to take it to different rooms in your house, depending on what you're doing. So you want to make sure that you have a good space, a good place to pack up and store your materials if it's temporary, and a way to organize them if it's permanent. So, so think about having your favorite, most used materials really handy, and maybe you might even add in some special things from time to time. Okay, so maybe here's some things that I've been able to gather around my house. Maybe you are someone who everybody in your family knows you love art, and you received like cool art materials for a Christmas gift. So this is something one of my kids had. It's like this fancy art kit. So maybe you have something like this, and this is going to be like I'm going to open it to where I don't dump it all out. Ooh, you can see he's used it a lot. He's going to be using it. So maybe you have a lot of materials and they're like super organized and they're in this beautiful kit, and that is like a ready-made, ready to go art studio right there. And maybe you like it like that. I'll show you some other options though. Maybe you have this, but it's not super handy to just like grab things and use them as you need them. So I'll show you kind of some options there. Maybe you don't have that. Maybe though, like my daughter, you have an old school box from last year or the year before, if you're really a pack rat, like some of us are. And if you look inside, you'll see it has, like hers, she had a glue stick left over. She had scissors and colored pencils and crayons. That's enough for a pretty decent art studio there. You can create a lot of stuff with just what is in her leftover school box from, I believe it was last year, maybe. I don't know. So that's another, and I could just keep it right in here. And this could be her portable art studio. You pull it out when it's time to create art and use your stuff and then put it away when it's done. Maybe you have to kind of go ransack the junk drawer. Does everybody have a junk drawer? We have a junk drawer. Okay, maybe you have more than one. I have definitely had more than one before. So here's what I was able to collect from my junk drawer. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess. So I found scissors and stapler and glue and tape and crayons and highlighters. So it's not the traditional set of Crayola markers, but I could definitely do some cool stuff with these. Found a black marker, a couple of Sharpies. I even found paper. Something that you might want to think about in your own art studio is getting some old magazines or catalogs, or even just junk mail. Like everybody gets junk mail. So take some of that, because it has cool colors and different weights of paper that you can cut up and you can make sculptures with it, and or you can collage with it. So save that kind of stuff. Maybe find a way to save that. So I'm going to show you. So like I have this really nice box. Ordered our cat flea treatment here. I could cut off the flaps if I want it to just be like this nice flat open box that I could use to hold things, or you could kind of fold them down or push them down inside of it. I am going to show you another option I have. I've had this really big shoe box. So this would be great for portable or permanent. So if it's portable, I put everything in it, close it up, and I can put it away. And then I open it up when I'm ready to create. Or if I wanted to make a permanent studio space, this could just kind of lean up against a wall. And I could hang some of my inspirational things here, or some, other ideas. As I have ideas, I could kind of write them up there and then store my supplies in here. But it can get a little crazy. Like this box, like everything's all mixed together. Like my box of stuff for my junk drawer, it's all mixed together. It might be a little messy. So you may want to organize it. I like to organize. I like things to be neat and tidy. And I saw this really cool trick that I wanted to show you guys. Let me grab my scissors. With a Kleenex box. Now it works best with this kind that kind of has the weird like roundy shape. We could probably, I love Kleenex. I save everything. You guys know this. This could work. You might have to cut it open a little bit on the top, but this one is kind of a cool surprise. If I cut it right in half, right down the middle, it makes two really nice boxes for storing materials. I should have cut it before probably, but you know me. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So there's these little guys. I could tape them together like that, or set them down inside of one of my other boxes like so. And so I could have one spot for like my glue and tape and one spot for my crayons. You can even, okay, we're going to make use of our great toilet paper tubes. You could even set some of these up inside there. And again, you'll probably want to glue or tape them to get them to like stay put, but they would be great for colored pencils. So I could have like my scissors and glue there, colored pencils here, crayons right in here. Maybe you have some markers that you could stick down in that other guy there, or regular pencils. Okay, so you can kind of get your stuff organized, set up a really cool studio space for yourself. If it needs to be temporary, think of how it can fit inside of another container, or just keep it in your handy little school box there. Except for these little guys, if I lay them down, I can close this lid and store it away. So look around. There's all different kinds of containers that you can use to help create your little studio space, and you can put them together. You can tape them, glue them, put little containers inside of a bigger container so that you can organize and sort your stuff out and have it all set and ready to go and so you'll be ready to create. So the last thing you want to think about is what inspires you. Look around you, gather some books, magazines, pictures of things that maybe stuffed animals and toys that you really love. And when it's time to create and you're looking for inspiration, surround yourself with those things. This time of year, I find outdoors is so full of ideas and inspiration. There's so many beautiful things growing and animals out and about. So, yeah, so good luck setting up your workspace. Remember, it could be something super like the super fancy art kit. It could be your leftover supplies from last year, or maybe just what you can scrounge out of the junk drawer. But we can create with all different materials. And so I'll be back with more ideas later.